partnered with them in 1999, and we are currently working on a goal of raising $60 million in 10 years. So the most important things to know about St. Jude, though, is that families never receive a bill, and patients do unfortunately have to be referred to St. Jude in order to get treatment there. But they do treat patients from all around the world, and anything that they do find, since it is also a research hospital, does get shared to other hospitals like children's hospitals and every other thing. So it does cost about $2.2 million a day to run St. Jude because no one ever receives a bill. And that is why it is so important to get these donations. And 75% of St. Jude is run off just the donation. So. And then some other little quick facts about St. Jude that just kind of makes Tridel really love St. Jude is that on the left, you'll see this picture of little red wagons, and that is what they actually use as wheelchairs. So since this is a children's hospital, they do pretty much everything they can in order to make it a little less terrible. So that is something that they do. And on the right, you'll also see this blue phone. And the blue phone there's a bunch throughout the hospital, and that is so that anyone who comes to St. Jude is able to speak their native language, since they do have patients from all around the world. So the St. Jude patient family member or patient will pick up one end, and the staff member will pick up the other, and in the middle there'll be a translator. And on the middle is just a fun picture of Tridel actually has a wing that's donated to them. So that's a picture of it within the hospital. So now we are going to go ahead and hear a few words from Bonnie Collins. She is a mom of St. Jude patient Maya Collins and the founder of the Live Like Maya Foundation. So I'm going to go ahead and give the floor to her for a few minutes.
Can you guys see me?
Yeah, you're good.
I don't do Zoom a whole lot, so this is upside down. This is Maya. This is my daughter. So when she was she was about 7.5, she was diagnosed with leukemia. And we were at Cincinnati Children's immediately. She received a bone marrow transplant in 2011, and unfortunately relapsed shortly thereafter and received a second bone marrow transplant in 2012. She remained in remission for 4 years. She was doing great. And then she came to us and said, I'm not feeling good again. Something's wrong. We took her to Cincinnati Children's, and she had relapsed. At that point, Cincinnati Children's told us that they could do another bone marrow transplant with a non-related donor, which the first two she had were both non-related donors. But we kind of felt like we needed to try something new. We didn't want to kind of go through the whole rigmarole again. So I reached out to a friend who connected us to St. Jude, and they flew us out there free of charge. We met with the doctors. They told us they were going for the cure, which is all we really needed to hear. We just wanted her to be cured, of course, and they told us that they would totally take care of us. So we packed up our bags, we drove to St. Jude, and Maya and I actually stayed at St. Jude for her to get her third bone marrow transplant, and her dad and sister stayed here in Ohio, which was tough. But I just have to say, St. Jude, being there, just Maya and I, it was amazing. Like, it's just like, it's hard to explain unless you're really there, but it's like being with a family. When we first got there, when we drove up, we were scared, we were nervous. It was night, it was dark. We got out, we walked into the hospital, and there was like nobody there. It was kind of dark. They had some guards, security guards. We walked up, but it wasn't like Cincinnati Children's. When you walk into Cincinnati Children's, it's like a hospital. They have the emergency room, and they have all these different departments, and all hours of the night, there's people running around, and it's busy. And, Maya and I would walk down into Cincinnati Children's in the hallways, and there was always something going on. Guards around, the doors were locked. You couldn't go into anything except your room. And when you go to St. Jude, it's like almost like like a campus. So you walk in and they greeted us. They knew who we were right away. They whisked us into this little room where they, they were checking Maya, checking her vitals, taking her blood, and they just totally made us feel at home. And then we actually stayed in the Tridelt house that night because we had not been assigned a place to live yet. And the Tridelt house was amazing. It's kind of like a hotel right there next to the hospital. So we stayed there for a couple nights while they checked out Maya and got her, kind of ready for her third transplant and getting all that going again. But the thing that was so neat about being there that first night was that we could walk around that whole hospital. We could even walk into like a clinic or like a room, a doctor's room, and nothing was locked up. Of course, the medicine was all locked up, but you could just walk around and talk to people. And it was just like this secure little campus just for the patients, for the families there. And it was just really neat. So anyway, we stayed at Tridelt House for a couple nights, and then they put us in a really nice apartment, a furnished apartment, the Target House. And we lived there for 1.5 years while Maya had her treatments. We made friends with all the families there. It really is kind of like comparing it to being on campus at a college. And everybody makes friends, and you guys, we all supported each other. And everything, again, was paid for, like where we lived, all the medicine that Maya had so much medicine. Those little red wagons that you guys were just showing, we would pull a little red wagon up to the pharmacy, and they would fill that little red wagon with medicine for Maya. And, I'm sure it was thousands of dollars of meds that she had to take, but everything was paid for. Her procedures, her biopsies, everything that she had. And then her transplant was over $1 million. So at Cincinnati Children's, we would receive bills for each transplant. Like I said, she had 2 at Children's, and each one was over $1 million. We got bills for that. So you can imagine, for a family, that's struggling, can you imagine getting a bill for $1 million to give your child a bone marrow transplant? So, it's crazy. So, but the fact that we were at St. Jude, we didn't have to worry about that. We never saw a bill ever. And she was completely treated. She was in the ICU several times during her treatments. A night in the ICU, I think they said, is over $10,000 a night. And we never saw a bill for that. So, and she was probably in the ICU for over a month. So anyway, I can't talk enough about the hospital. I want to thank all of you guys. Like I said, the Tridelt House was this beautiful hotel that we stayed in. It's kind of like temporary housing until you get your permanent housing there, or people who are coming in just for checkups from out of town can stay at Tridelt House. And it's so nice, and they feed you, they have breakfast, and you guys pay for all of that. And so I just want to thank you guys. Maya did unfortunately pass away, but our family is so indebted to the hospital. It kept her alive for an additional 1.5 years that we would not have had, to spend with her. And the research that they're doing is groundbreaking, and they're finding cures for kids every day. So there's a lot to be done. The childhood cancer cure rate is 1 in 5 right now, which, 80% is fantastic, but Maya fell into that 20%. So there's still a lot more to be done, and St. Jude's working really hard to make it 100%. So I appreciate all of you guys and everything you're doing and all the money you're raising for the hospital. It's finding cures, it's helping these families, and St. Jude is primo hospital for any child, fighting any cancer. St. Jude is the place to go because it is amazing. So, and I hear that some guys are going to shave their heads maybe tonight. So I'm really excited to watch that. Maya shaved her head 3 times because she fought cancer 3 times. And, it sucked, but she did it. And so I'm so grateful for what you guys are doing. And I really appreciate everything. So thank you. I'm going to cook dinner, but I'm going to watch all of this.
Thanks, Bonnie.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're going to go